Recording is about to start and I'm gonna get going. All right. Shabbat Shalom. Um, Me and the wife and our household went away on a vacation. So while I was on a vacation, I came up with this. This came to me. So I'm gonna share this. First, I'm gonna pray and then get started. Abba Yahuwah, we thank you for this Shabbat, one of many, one of your many set apart days. May we always honor you, where we always put a focus on you and not ourselves. Though we do things to, I guess, gather ourselves and refresh ourselves, may we always come back to the focus of your will and purpose and not be selfish and not be mindful of our things or us alone, but your will and your purposes so that your will can be done on earth as it is in heaven, on the Eretz as it is in the Shamayim. Hallelujah. Okay. So while I was on my trip, I got to see a lot of human nature. And in seeing that human nature, it brought me to the thought that love requires conditions. Many of us have been, told that, everything is about unconditional love. And as I look at life in general, I see that that's not accurate, that there's actually a penalty system in place. So I do want to get started off, of course, with text and scripture. So let's go. Let's get there. I've already kind of arranged my screen or my use the TS 2009, the scriptures version of the Bible, and I've gotten some stuff in order and ready to go. So I'm gonna, start off in the Brit Hadashah though. I am going to start in the Brit Hadashah, but I'm going to always lean back on the Torah. So over here in Hebrews, Ibrahim 12, I'm going to go over to 6 and 7 and start there. I might even, let me see, I'm going to start off at 5 actually. And it says, and you have forgotten the appeal which speaks to you as to sons. My son, do not despise the discipline of Yahuwah, nor faint when you are reproved by him. Who is the him? The him is Yahuwah, the Father, for whom Yahuwah loves, he disciplines and flogs every son whom he receives. So the system that we live in modernly kind of has you believing or taking in that for someone to love you, they have to, I guess, come with subtle words or speak with honey, never bitter, have to be very it has to be appealing to the person. But if you look at many of the texts in the Bible, you see that that's not how Yah operates. There are many times that he may come with you with the soft tone, but there are many more times that he comes firm and he has a straight out instruction on what he expects. And there is not much haggling over that. You basically are expected to come with that. So, you know, I kind of have heard so much stuff that it kind of gets at me. When you look at the creation story of Adam and Eve, you see that some people have put in that, Cain and Abel, that Abel was of Adam, but they say Cain was the serpent seed. But I'm like, if that's so, then why did Yah correct him? Why did Yah give him encouragement? Why did Yah act as a father with him? He actually chastened him as a father would. So let's go there. Let's go over there and read that. Well, before I go there, I'm gonna skip over here too first. I'm gonna skip over here. Let me skip. Let me see. I'm gonna skip over here. I want to go somewhere before I go there. I want to go over here to. I want to go over here to Psalms or telling him 94 before I go there. I'm still going where I said I was going, but I want to go over here first. So let's go over here first. Then we'll shift over. So telling him to Tehillim or Psalms 94 and 12 says, "Blessed are the man you discipline, O Yah, and instruct out of your Torah." That right there is just a snippet. Of course, I'm cherry picking, but I'm gonna jump right over here to this Bereshit and go straight in and straight on. Bereshit Genesis 4, it says here at verse 6. And Yahuwah said to Cain, or Cain, "Why is he wroth towards you? And why is your face fallen?" He's correcting him. He's asking him basically, why are you, looking in displeasure? Why are you not okay in this moment? Is it not you do good, you are to be accepted? Basically, if you do good, I'm going to accept you. And if you do not do good, towards the door is a sin. He is lying, and towards you is his desire, and you must rule over him. You got to rule over sin. But of course, we already, most know the story of Cain and Abel. Cain slew his brother Abel. He had a jealousy issue. He had an issue with basically when it came forth his offering to Yah was not pleasing to Yah. He got corrected and he didn't like that. That chastening caused him to rebel. He pushed away from the correction. To me, it would look as if Cain was a part of this system of correction. That Cain was not a non-son, I guess, because he did get a chastening or a correction directly from Yah, and even Yah offered him protection. He was basically marked for death, and Yah protected him so no man would kill him. How do we disregard that? How do we not see that there was a system in place? There was an expectation. Many say unconditional love, but there was an expectation on Cain that he did not meet, and in that he failed. And it didn't say Yah didn't love him, but he fled from the correction that was on him. He fled. Yah was holding him accountable as a father would a son. All right. I want to go over here to Michelle or Proverbs 3. And I'm going to start off at 11 and read 11 and 12. It says, "My son, do not despise the discipline of Yahuwah." Cain despised the discipline of Yahuwah, and do not loathe his reproof. For who Yahuwah loves, he reproves as a father the son whom he delights in. We know he delighted in Abel, but Abel was deceased, or Cain got rid of him. But he obviously had love also for the other seed of Adam, This is what I see. This is my opinion, I guess, because many have said different. They try to say that Cain is the serpent seed. But again, he was corrected and he despised the discipline of Yahuwah. And as this here in Proverbs, or Michelle says, my son, do not despise the discipline of Yahuwah and do not loathe his reproof. For whom Yahuwah reproves, Yahuwah loves, he reproves, excuse me. He reproved Cain, so he must love him. But again, Cain chose to flee the correction of Yah, correction that a wise son would embrace. Nah, Cain was like, nah, I'm out of there. he, he was out of there. You know, seeing that Abel was kind of deceased in human terms, the son that lived prodigal would fit more Cain. You know, he left from the covering of his own natural father, Adam, and he left from the covering of Yahuwah. Of course, Yahuwah is everywhere. So that protection that Yahuwah put on him, he marked him so that nobody would kill him. It was still there. There was still something protecting him. Condition of love was put on him. He rebelled from it. He fled from it. He chose to disregard the love that was for him. He chose, he basically was in the hands of Yah, and he, instead of being plucked out, he chose to be plucked out. He left the covering of Yah. Many of us do this same thing. Yah has shown us over and over that he loves us, but we choose to disregard because we say, oh, unconditional love. He's supposed to love me anyway. In lawlessness and all this, you know, this is what we've been taught, that, you know, once saved, always saved. You cannot live lawless and be a part of Yah. If you're living lawless, you show that you don't have his instruction in you. You're not walking under his authority. You may not be under the law, but you're supposed to be under Yah's authority. Let me switch the focus though, because I really didn't come to talk about Cain. I kind of wanted to show a little bit about the relationship with Esau. This is always a touchy conversation. Most people don't want to address this whole matter with Esau. You know, it becomes a black and white narrative, even though I myself say that all of Esau is not palm skin. I think there are even Israelites that are palm skin, because the palm skin or the recessive gene is not something that's just akin to just one people group. Noah had 3 sons. They all came out of the same womb. So they all came out alike almost, brothers. In a time, you see time occurring. You know, you see at a time what Moses put his hand inside of his blouse and brought it out white. His own sister spoke against him, Miriam, and she turned white. You see Gehazi. Gehazi took the gifts from Naaman, who was a leper, and then Gehazi turned white. And it says Gehazi and all his descendants would have that same curse on them. If you do your diligence and look up the Cagots, Cagots, they are the descendants of Gehazi. You'll see that they look very much palm skin. I believe Gehazi was an Israelite. But again, that's another narrative, another story. Let's go. Let's go. I'm going to show you that Esau wasn't under the same penalty system. That's where when it says that Yahuwah hated Esau, that's where that comes from. He wasn't under the same penalty system that Yaqub was or Israel was. The same one that Cain was under. He wasn't really under that same penalty system. So, okay, let me go over here to Proverbs 13 and 24. Proverbs So Michelle 13, and I'm going to go to, is it? Yeah, I'm gonna start off here. Read 24 right here. It said, "He who spares his rod hates his son." We know as Israelites, or those that are Israelites, Yah is rarely ever spared his rod. We do something wrong, and you see judgment. The melanin people on the earth, almost every time you see them transgress a law of Yah, there's a heavy fee or punishment to pay. But he who loves him seeks him with discipline. This is Yah all day with us, Israel. But people say, well, these palm skin people get away with everything. And people get very envious of that, or not realizing that you're envious of someone that Yah has pulled away his rod from. He's actually showing love to you. If anything, they should be envious of you. But of course, penalty doesn't feel well. When you're doing something wrong and you get held accountable, it doesn't feel well. We shouldn't look at judgment or justice in such a way, but we look at justice in a negative way. We look at it as unfair. When justice, according to Yah's will, is very fair. Those he loves, he's going to chasten. We want to flee the chastening. We want to be like our ancestor or the ancestor, Cain. We want to flee. And that's not going to work. Not if we want to end up in the kingdom. That's not going to work at all. It's not going to work. All right. Michelle, Proverbs 23. I'm going to go 23, 12 through 14. And it says, bring your heart. Get rid of them feelings and emotions and stuff like that. Get them in check. Bring your heart to discipline and your ears to words of knowledge. Do not withhold discipline from a child. We are his children, so he is not withholding his discipline from us. If you strike him with a rod, if you punish him, you chasten him, he does not die. Most of us have went through some things we didn't think we were going to make it out of, but we did not die. Strike him with a rod and deliver him from deliver his being from Sheol. Many compare Sheol to hell. Damnation, punishment, or eternal disconnect from Yah. I'll put it like that. Maybe I'm adding. Forgive me if I am. But yeah, we don't want that. Let's keep going. And I'm jumping around. These scriptures I think are, pertinent to the situation though. So Michelle, Proverbs 12 and 1. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge. Best believe in my youth, I hated discipline. I got whooped a lot. I thought I was a good child, but it was some mischievousness in me. But he who hates reproof is stupid. I'm not complete in all knowledge, but I feel like I'm more knowledgeable than I've ever been in my life. And I look forward to discipline. I love when someone corrects me when I'm wrong. Friends, whatever, a lot of times they avoid that because they look at me as this big man and think that maybe I'm going to get angry, get upset, that there's going to be some problem that comes out of it. But I respect people that correct me. The problem that comes in the correction a lot of times is that people correct with insults. They call you stupid. They make it as if you don't have the ruach. Those things right there, to me, that's not good correction. That's not good reproof. If you get on me, I could take it. I've gotten many whoopings and I took them, physical whoopings. So I can take whoopings, but I don't, you don't have to mischaracter me. You don't have to do that. You don't have to say I'm not connected to Yah at all. You don't have to do that. That's a little bit much. I think we overstep our bounds when we speak to Yah's servants and tell them that they don't know him at all, as if we have the deciding vote on that. That's out of line. That's out of line. All right. I'm gonna read a little bit from my notes, because again, I'm still not as refreshed as I was when I wrote this and had it in my mind. It could flow out of me a little easier when I was writing it. But let me see. It says Esau was not, from my focus, held accountable for his actions. It says that his father Yitzhak loved him. If you look at the relationship of Isaac, he loved that he would go get him wild game and all that different stuff like that. But his mother loved the brother Yaakov. Seemed like Yitzhak kind of despised Yaakov a little bit, like, this boy, he too delicate. He wasn't as rough as his father wanted him. But it's obvious he had some roughness, but he didn't seem to have that physique or that outward, attribute of that. It says that his father Yishak loved him, yet this wild man had no structure or viewable guidance. He did whatever he wanted to do, when he wanted to do, how he wanted to do, married who he wanted to. He disregarded almost everything that his father told him and taught him. He did as he pleased and still believed himself worthy of position. After doing all of that, he still thought he should get the birthright and the blessing. By order, it was his, first son. But his actions, he wasn't really worthy. He sold some of his birthright, for some bean soup because he was famished. This hunter that could hunt and get everything else, but he wanted some bean soup from his brother, so he kind of sold some of his birthright. That, he wasn't disciplined. He wasn't structured. All right, he did as he pleased and still believed himself worthy of his position, inheritance, and the favor from his natural father. His belly and his emotions were whom he was obedient. Yeah, he was led by his emotions and his stomach. He was self-oriented and supposed self-sufficient up till he was unable. And I put unable because, Abel. He was unable. He was not like Abel, trying to please Yah. He was unable. He didn't do what pleased Yah. He did what pleased himself. Grabbing up them Canaanite women when he wasn't supposed to. They serving other gods and stuff like that. But you don't see any record really of Esau at that time worshiping Yah at all. His deity was his belly and him. The women that he was messing with, all of the stuff he was doing, his self-will. You don't see anywhere that Yah kind of stepped in and corrected him either. Don't see anywhere where Yah, Yitzhak or Isaac corrected him either. Don't see it. I don't. Maybe somebody can share that scripture, and show me something where they was. It basically, to me, he made a choice to ignore Yah's system and structure. Them instructions didn't matter much to Esau. He did as he wanted to. He went with the modern phrase, "Do as thy wilt." He did his own will. Let me go back to my notes. It said Cain was the example of obedience is greater than sacrifice. Obedience is greater than sacrifice, but most are so focused on this sin system and not the system of instructions that Yah placed. He wanted obedience. Sacrifice came into place when sin occurred. You had to have something die. If we are obedient, what needs to die? If our will is already dead to ourselves and alive to him, what needs to die? What do we need to sacrifice? The obedience is already in place. You don't need to do the other if obedience is in line. Esau was an example of a son that correction and accountability was absent. Yah was not with Esau, and he was, as he was with Abraham, as he was with Yishak, and then Yaqub, whom were obviously Yah's servants and sons. Are you Yah's servant? Are you his son? You know, Christianity kind of had me looking at the Torah in a bad light. And I don't want to keep on talking about Christianity because, again, it was something that helped me on my process to get where I'm at. It was a stepping stone. But I know that the Torah or the instructions of Yah are very important. If I can be in this world and obey the laws of the land, why can't attempt or walk and strive to obey the laws of Yah? Someone who I love. Even Yahusha say, if you obey, keep my commandments. And most people take that when it says keep my commandments, they take it as he's saying he is belonging. No. If we are one with Yah, we on accord with Yah, those commands are ours as well. The master, they are the true owner of them, but of course they're ours as well, because they're directed to us and we are a part of his body. We belong. Those are our commands and those are our laws as well. We are to obey them. Those instructions should be written in our heart and be a part of us. We're working towards that. Your works show that you have faith. Your works are establishing who you are in him. It's saying, oh, yes, evidence. There's a fruit. You know, when you put a seed in anything and it harvests, you'll see a fruit come about. So if his laws are in us, you'll see us walking out and having fruit that shows that we are his. That means we should operate in that same system of, chastening those we love. Our children should have structure, should have rules, as we do. How can they live in your home and they live contrary to what you believe? If you say in my house, there's no Christmas, how can your children do Christmas in your house? Wouldn't they be that sacred ground? Wouldn't they be, basically making it unsacred? If they set up in your house cooking pork, which you know that you're not supposed to eat, would that not defile your home? Should you not be, saying, no, not here? As someone who loves them, you should correct them. Say, no, that's not acceptable here. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right. Go over here. My next is Yirmiyahu or Jeremiah. Going to 46 and 28. Again, this may sound a lot redundant because it's saying a lot of the same things, but again, Yah does not say anything in vain. So if he's emphasizing these things over and over again, it's because they are very important that we get them in us. It says here in Yirmiyahu or Jeremiah 46 and 28, do not fear, O Yaqub, my servant, declares Yahuwah, for I am with you. Though I make a complete end of all the nations to which I have driven you, yet I do not make a complete end of you. Here goes this system again. But I shall reprove you in right ruling, and by no means leave you unpunished. I love you, so I'm going to chasten you, just like a father should. He's letting us know he ain't going to leave us without judgment. He's going to set us straight because he loves us. Sometimes we look at discipline and say, oh, that's not, they don't love us. He ain't abusing us, but he's going to hold us accountable. He's going to discipline us. All right. So going back to my notes, it says, in the end, even Esau that many only focus on the text that attributes to hate. People say, that Yah hates Esau, and they think that since it says he hates Esau, that we should take on a posture of hate. But we don't. In my belief, we don't take on the biblical aspect of hate. Again, when I spoke on hate earlier, I said a father who hates his son does not rebuke him, does not chasten him, does not hold him accountable. That's what Yah said. He hated Esau. When we dealing with Esau, we're supposed to operate like Yah, but not in the sense of taking on that hate. We're supposed to hold him accountable because according to Exodus 19, 5 and 6, Israel was meant to be the royal priesthood. We were supposed to be in the hierarchy in the kingdom of rulership. We're not Yah, but we are supposed to bring forth his instructions to all the nations of the earth. So where would Esau fit in that? Isn't Esau a nation of the earth? We would hold them accountable. We would go forth showing love by chastening them, by rebuking them, by holding them accountable. This is the one thing that I don't see happening most often. Most of the time we show them compassion. When they do something wrong, they don't even have to show true repentance. And we forgive you. That's not biblical love. We're supposed to hold them accountable. Are we supposed to utterly destroy them? That's not what I'm saying. No, but we hold them accountable. And if they fall in line and come up under Yah's instructions and his Torah, then we embrace them. This is for all nations because we are to be the royal priests. Again, in the end, even Esau, and many only focus on the hate attributes of Yah-tourism, Esau will be under Yah's correction and chastening when it comes to the end. All the earth will. Because we are established as his royal priests. And if you go back to the Genesis narrative, he created Adam to have dominion over the whole earth. He wanted a man or mankind to rule this earth. He, of course, would rule over that man. We are that one man. We look at ourselves as an individual, but no, we are a part of a body. It's one individual body, but we are only a part. We have to come together in accord and be one. All right. Let me see. Where am I at? Okay. Back to my notes. It says, many missed, in my opinion, the lesson. They missed the example given. One son was always in the penalty system. The covenant and instruction of the father, the other son, the oldest, had no such structure, even having the same father. Adam had Cain and Abel. Obviously, Abel was doing everything and Cain was going awry. You go to the situation. We can even look at Abraham and Yitzhak and his brother. Why is his brother's name missing my head? But his brother Ishmael. Ishmael again was another wild man, and he did some things. Whatever, he even made a threat towards Yitzhak's life or Isaac's life. But then you get to the Esau and Jacob situation, or Yaakov. You see that you got that same structure. You got these two brothers issues. You got defiant brothers issues. That situation, that narrative is in the scripture multiple times. But okay, Israel is the structure and love son, and Esau represents the other nations of the earth that lack structure and the father's instruction. Israel is going to be operating as Yah on earth, and all the other nations are Esau. Some say Gentile when Gentile, pagan. But if they come under the authority of the Torah and of the scriptures and Yah, they can enter into the kingdom as well. I think that is it Leviticus 19 and 31, I do believe, but I'm not gonna take too many more rabbit trails. I'm gonna get back to where I'm supposed to be going because this is already long and I got much more to go. So going over here to Romans 9, and I'm gonna use this and go through this a couple of different areas in Romans 9, because I think Romans 9 is really, most people get it wrong. This has been used to push the narrative of all the other nations, but it specifically says some things that people just ignore. But I'm going to hit some points here. So I'm going to start off here at 21. Romans 9 and 21. It says, does not the potter have authority over the clay? Who's the potter? Who's the clay? If you go back to the beginning narrative, you have the potter being Yah, and the man that was brought out of dirt, that would be the clay. From the same lump, to make one vessel for value and another not for value. So we know we're not talking about the Genesis narrative here. It's got more details in it because it's talking about one vessel for value and another not for value. And if Elohim, desiring to show wrath, he want to show wrath, and to make his power known, with much patience tolerated, so he didn't hold them accountable. The vessels of wrath prepared for destruction. He didn't hold them accountable. He didn't show them no love. He hated them. He didn't chasten them. And that he might make known the riches of his esteem on vessels of compassion, which he had prepared beforehand for esteem. Even whom he called, not only us. So this is talking about Israel, or those chosen, the remnant of the Yahudim, but also of the nations, and some would replace Gentiles there. But this is the other nations, or Esau. All right. As he says in Hosea 2, I shall call them my people, who were not my people, and her beloved was not my beloved. Israel has been his people through the whole document, almost, the whole Bible, almost. Israel has been his people. So who is he talking about? And it shall be in the place where it was said to them, you are not my people, there they shall be called sons. Again, he chastens those he loves. He calls those sons of the living Elohim. So these people that were not called as people, these vessels of wrath prepared for destruction, who were not my people, they shall be called sons of the living Elohim. They're going to be called sons of Yah. Let's move up. We're still in Romans. Let's move up. 9 and 12. For the 12. This is something that most people omit. They always want to put it out there that Esau was utterly destroyed, but I don't remember this in the Bible or in any time frame that this happened. It was said to her. Who is her? Who is her? That's a good question. You answer that later on. The greater shall serve the lesser. And here it go. And it's been written, Yaakov I have loved, but Esau I have hated. Which one was the greater? Which one was the lesser? Esau was the oldest. He was the one that all those things were supposed to be birthright to. Yaakov was the lesser. We've seen times where Esau did things, and even now where we say Esau is over the people of Israel. When has Israel been over Yaakov? When has Israel been over Esau? Excuse me. I don't remember it. I don't remember it in history. I don't remember it personally. Maybe someone could correct me on it. But it's saying the greater shall serve the lesser. I believe this will be in the kingdom. They will no longer take on the name of Esau, though. They will be possessions of Israel. Those that are walking in authority because they obey the instructions of Yah. Thus, they will obey those that are over them, the royal priesthood, Israel. Let's go up further because we need some more context. Need some more context. So go in Romans 6-8. Say, however, it is not as though the word of Elohim has failed. His word has never failed. We have not always seen the completion of it, but you're supposed to hear the whole matter to its conclusion. Most of us want to judge things from where we're at and not know if that's the conclusion of the matter. So, however, it is not as though the word of Elohim has failed, for they are not all Israel who are Israel. That kind of goes with what we just read. So that means there's adding information, but let's keep going. Neither are they all children because they are the seed of Abraham. But here it goes. Here's a kicker. In Yitzhak, your seed shall be called. So Abraham had Ishmael and Yitzhak, but it didn't say in Ishmael. It said in Yitzhak. Yitzhak is only listed of having 2 children. Yaakov being the younger, but Esau being the older. One grabbed the heel of the other. So the seed of promise is Yitzhak. It's not Yaakov. It's not Israel, but it's Yitzhak. So that means out of Yitzhak, you have Esau and Yaakov. You got both of them. Both of them. Both of them. So that in Yitzhak, your seed shall be called. Let's read this 8. That is, those who are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of Elohim, but the children of the promise are reckoned as the seed. The promise was of Yitzhak. So they don't just isolate out and say, oh, just one of his children. No. Yitzhak, the complete promise was to Yitzhak. See, that's a hard thing for people to get, to me. They don't want to see Esau being a part of nothing. So let's keep going. I'm still gonna keep this open, but I'm gonna go over here to Bereshit 17:19, and it says, "And Elohim," this Genesis 19 and 17 and 19, it says, "And Elohim said, No, Sarah, your wife is truly bearing a son to you, and you shall call his name Yitzhak. And I shall establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant." With who? Yitzhak. Not Yaakov, but with Yitzhak. "I shall establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant and with his seed." So both of them after him. Both of them. Going back. In Yitzhak, your seed shall be called. Go back down. And let me see, where was that at? "I shall call them my people who were not my people." Esau was not called people. I know most people don't want to hear that. They want to hate Esau. But again, you're using feelings and natural hate. Yah doesn't want us to use hate like that. No, because he doesn't use hate like that. His hate says, he removes his correction and stuff like that. But with us, we are his tools of judgment. We're supposed to rule over the whole earth, have dominion. So how are we going to have dominion over people that we don't hold accountable? Don't make sense. All right. Let me see. I get it. Some people say, oh, man, this dude is putting on a cape. He trying to save Esau. He not really. Not really. I ain't trying to be their champion. Nah, not really. I'm just trying to read the text and use it properly. I'm trying to show that the way Yah hates is not the same how men hate. We want to keep putting him on our level and do things, make him be like us instead of us be like him. If he hated Esau like we hated, he would have utterly destroyed him. That's what when we want to hate something, that's how we operate. We want to utterly destroy it, get rid of it. That's not what Yah said. And he's utterly destroyed a many of people, or had them destroyed in the book. But I don't remember him ever doing that with Esau, because again, see the promise. He don't go back on his word, don't come back void. And some of the stuff that people use and try to talk about Esau being destroyed, it's like if Esau was destroyed, then how was Herod an Edomite? How do you get to that time frame of Yahusha if with an East is somebody a descendant of Edom, if the Edomites were destroyed? That doesn't compute. Doesn't make sense. All right. Let me see. I'm gonna just read this. It says, I by all this am not putting on a cape to save or champion Esau. I though am addressing the elephant in the room. Esau, we are not to hate. As the image of Yah, we are the facilitators of his systems, his instructions, and his love. He chastens. Yah chastens those he loves. He chastens those he loves. All right. Let's get back to the text. I'm gonna get back to sharing my screen, and I'm getting close to wrapping up, but I'm not gonna do like they used to say. Is oh, I got 5 minutes? No, I can't make that. I'm gonna try to be as obedient as possible and do what I'm supposed to do and get it done. I'm not trying to put no time frame on the Ruach. If the Ruach wants to step in and lead, I want to be obedient to that. So Dabarim, or Deuteronomy 23, going from verse 7, okay, 7 down to 8, I say, it says, do not loathe or hate an Edomite, for he is your brother. Do not loathe a Mizraim, which is Egyptian, because you were a stranger in his land. The children of the third generation, born to them, Edom and Mizraim, do enter the assembly of Yahuwah. If they're utterly destroyed completely after this, because this is right here in the Torah. This is in his instructions. If they're utterly destroyed, then that would void this out. That would mean this basically did not fulfill. It did not reach the goal or the end. This will kind of make it as if Yah lied, or he left a promise unfulfilled. Nah, no, that ain't Yah. No. All right. So go back to my notes and read a little bit here. It says, thus as Yahuwah's representatives, who? Israel, and sons, we are to hold accountable, to correct and chasten those we love. Those he loves. All that, yes. We are to love all the nations as Yah loves us. All the nations, as far as the world, let me give a caveat. All the nations that obey Yah, all the nations that fall in line with his instructions, we are to love. If they are not in order, we still supposed to hold them accountable. Yeah. Yes. Hold them accountable. But there will be some that are going to face destruction if they're not going to get in line. They're not going to get in obedience. They're not going to allow their hearts to be written on with his laws. No, 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 no. They have no place in the kingdom. All right. Chastening them and allowing them, and allowing them to return in obedience is supposed what we're supposed to do to all nations. We're supposed to rebuke them and judge them and give them an allowance, a time frame, grace. That's what grace is, for them to turn to obedience. Some people they ain't got it in them. Some people gonna look at this and gonna have a problem. They're gonna flee and run from us, and that's gonna be their choice. Some people are not going to be accepting that we are the chosen vessels, that we are the royal priesthood, especially since they've had their feet on our necks for so long. They're not gonna no, they're not gonna have no agreement to that. They're gonna have a problem with it, because to them, though they say it doesn't matter what skin color, it does matter to them. To me, it doesn't matter. Skin color is not what I worship. I worship Yah. I don't worship a flag other than my Nisi. Yahuwah is my Nisi. He's my banner. That's who I worship, and him alone. Now, the son Yahusha, I reverence. I reverence the second Adam. I acknowledge, just like I reverence Abraham. And I see Yahusha as greater, yes, but he is not Yahuwah. He's Yahusha or Usha. Okay. So all nations have the opportunity to try to flee correction. They can be like Cain and try to flee correction, but it's going to be to no avail. It's not going to work. Yet if they are able, like able, but I'm using the ABLE instead of ABEL, but still, like able, to endure the correction, they also can be named son. Some of those other nations were also called to obedience. If you ever get a chance, look up the Rechabites in Jeremiah. They obeyed their father, and they have a place in the kingdom, according to Yah, forever, because they walked in obedience to their father when Israel was not, and the Yahudim were not walking in obedience to Yah. So they had a testimony here on the earth because they honored all the directions of their father, even after he died. And it put a shame on us, Israel, that another nation of people was able to do that to a natural father, and us not able to do it to our father from the Shamayim, from heaven. Sad. Some of those of other nations were also called to obedience and to sit under the authority of the royal priesthood, Israel. So let's go. I want to get ready to close out. I'm not there all the way, but I'm going to hit some more text real quick, and because I definitely need to hit this. Shemot, or Exodus 19, starting with 5. And now, if you diligently obey my voice, it's going to tell you who he's talking to, and shall guard my covenant. Shamar, guard my covenant, my laws, my instructions, my Torah. Then you shall be my treasured possession above, not below, not the tail, but the head, above all the peoples, all the nations. For all the earth is mine. Yah is reclaiming earth as his, and saying that his people a specific people, covenant people, when they obey, they will be placed above all other peoples on the earth, which is his possession. And you shall be to me a reign. What does a sovereign do? Yahuwah is a sovereign. He reigns, but we'll be able to reign along with him. A reign of priests. What do priests do? They minister. They serve others in ministry, but they still reign and bring forth the authority of the person who's in charge. They are basically representatives of the person in reign. All right, and a set apart nation. So this is talking about Israel. Those are the words which you are to speak to the children of who? Israel. Not children of Esau, not the children of Israel, not the children of Rome, not the children of the United States, not the children of Russia, the children of Israel. And I'm not talking about those people over in the land right now. No, not talking about the Ashkenazi, not talking about the Jewish. I'm talking about the true descendants of Israel. They are the royal priests. They're the remnant. They're supposed to be the royal priests and a set apart nation that will reign with Yah over all the other nations of earth. All right, let me close out here. Okay. I'm gonna start here. I think is this 11. It says, "For I am with you." This is Jeremiah 30. For I am with you. Who? Yaakov, the people of Yaakov, Israel, declares Yahuwah, to save you, though I make a complete end of all nations. And see, some people, when they hear end, they think destruction. I don't know. I watched so many movies, and when a king wins, those nations they win over are no more. But the people that they bring in, they become a part of that nation. So that nation, the other nations end. The name goes no further. So Esau will not be their name. They will have Israel stamped on them. They will be possessions. These other nations, United States, will be no more. The land territory will all belong to Israel. You may have Israel East, Israel West, however, but it's going to be Israel. When you are the victor, you erase the name of the other people. Your people become a part of that are willing to obey. They no longer are called by the land that they once were a part of. They are part of the land who took over them. Most people don't want to acknowledge it, but during the time of Yahusha, Judea was a Roman territory. Why do you think that Pilate was the judge dealing with everything? That was Rome. They were able to put Herod over it because that was a Roman territory. They owned that area. Their dominion was there. That's why we couldn't even live according to our laws properly, because we were under the dominion of someone else. I say North America is an Israelite land, but of course, we are under captivity, just like they were there in the land called Yahudim or Yahudita, Yahuda, or that land was under captivity. That's why that Pilate and them had so much say and were able to scourge and do all of these different things, because that was their territory. They had colonized that area. When Israel comes into play, all other nations are going to get smashed out, and they're going to have to either bow down or bow out, one or the other. For I am with you, declares Yahuwah, to save you, though I make a complete end of all nations where I have scattered you. We are scattered where? Yet I do not make a complete end of you. So we're going to still be in some of these lands. We ain't going to go. We ain't going to be complete in, because those lands are going to become a possession or part of Israel. That's my take on that. But I shall reprove you, chasten you, correct you in judgment, and by no means leave you unpunished. The consistent theme of this whole message is that what? This whole unconditional love narrative is off. It's very off. You have to obey Yah. That whole unconditional love narrative, I don't know where it came from, but I'm throwing it back to whoever sent it and gave it. I'm throwing it away for me and my household. Love requires conditions. A penalty system is in place. And if you don't see it, you're going to likely end up on the wrong end of the penalty. Abiyah, I thank you for this Shabbat. I thank you for this opportunity to minister. May someone benefit from this. May you even teach me further. Bring your correction to me and my household to redirect us. Show us your love. We know you do not plan for us to die, if we obey. So work in us obedience so that we can recorrect and reposition ourselves to obey you, so that your will is done here in this household, done in everything that we do, that we honor you, that we bring forth your word, and that we live according to your plan, so that your will be done on earth as it is in heaven, in the Eretz as it is in the Shamayim. Shabbat Shalom. Hallelujah. One Vision Ministry. Shanquilla Yah or Shanquilla Carter. Hallelujah.